These theories will make you question everything. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's check them out.
So, why would they... So obviously there's a cover-up. No one ever seen giants. There's no giants in any museums today. Why do they cover up giants? There's no room for giants in the evolution theory. As you can see, they start small. We're supposed to be the biggest ones of the evolution theory. As you can see, there's no room for giants thousands of years ago. It just doesn't work. If this gets exposed, evolution's completely destroyed. Therefore, the schools will have to rewrite the curriculum on evolution. And so it has been covered up, and evidence has been kept in the Smithsonian Institute ever since. If you look up some Smithsonian Institute on the internet, you'll find a lot of information about this. So, why...
I don't think that it was... And that could be the case because they say if you're looking for the answer, it's usually the simplest one. So, you know what I mean? That could be the case. Maybe they didn't want to rewrite history in the history books and stuff like that. Can't completely rule that out. But you just have to be well-versed. And we got to stop looking at one area for our information. We got to be spread out. Look all over the place, man. Because of you heard about the Nephilim. You heard about Goliath. You've heard about all kind of different giants in other places. We got to stop just looking. And if we haven't learned already that a lot of the things we were taught, we need to unlearn.
They tell us we don't have the clearance to see that. Brother, we've got the highest clearances there are. If it's out there, I'm supposed to pretty much be able to see it. And we were told we were going to talk to pilots, we were going to see footage. They turn us away. The general sends us up to his office and we call DC, make sure that the top brass understands what the heck's going on. It's funny because they had microphones under the table. I mean, this is really Bush League. And we unplugged their microphones. Then we made a few phone calls, and lo and behold, they said, we want you back down there. The general, he's got to leave. He's got to go somewhere. And so they bring in these pilots. Secret Service in the room and others, and the Secret Service was getting very nervous. And the pilots described craft that they tailed and seen that did not match anything of any of our enemies or allies in the entire world.
We were blocked not only by the Pentagon, but by the Department of the Air Force from seeing information, talking to witnesses. And after much arm twisting, we got some of the information, but the fact is that they answer to Congress and thus the American people. And any government entity that attempts to stonewall us is doing nothing in the invested interest of the American people. When I take at face value the numerous roadblocks that we've been presented with, it leads me to believe that they are indeed hiding information. I look forward to bringing this topic to light and finding out the truth of what is really out there.
You say you tried to get information from the military. Give us very specific things, what the inquiry was, what they responded, how you went back, and therefore what your...
Representative Luna and I experienced was our colleague Matt Gaetz was contacted by some folks that said that some people would like to talk about some information, some things they'd seen. And we contacted the Air Force and we flew. We were told we were going to be briefed on the UAP. I like UFO. We got down there and it was the traditional skiff, James Bond stuff. You leave your phone, we go in. And the synopsis had nothing to do. It was some pretty big, important stuff, but it was not anything to do with the UFO. And we stopped the thing rightfully right in the middle of it and said, hey, this is not what you all told us we were coming down here for. And they basically told us, we're not going to give it to you. The arrogance of this general was beyond belief.
The Pentagon, this is Department of the Air Force. It was the commanding, It was the commanding general of Eglin Air Force Base. And ultimately, even before we got down there, the Pentagon actually tried to cancel the field hearing. And also, it's important to note that these were whistleblowers. These were pilots that had come forward to Representative Gates' office with information saying this needs to be investigated. We have an increase in sightings in this region. And it's a cause for concern for national security reasons. We don't know what it is. So we went down there. We were stonewalled. They would not give us access to testimony from some of the pilots. They were hiding images and information.
We were told there was pictures available, which we still haven't seen.
And ultimately what ended up happening is we had to actually call House Armed Services. Chairman Rogers got involved. The Pentagon got involved. The Department of the Air Force got involved. And we actually got into an argument with the general of that base. And it's important to note that we were there simply to follow up on the whistleblowers that came forward with information. And so if the Department of the Air Force, if the Pentagon thinks that they're above Congress, they have something else coming to them. We told them we were going to do this if they continue to hide information, and ultimately the American people deserve the facts.
So you said the intelligence community blocked it?
I was told the intelligence community blocked it, and then I was told that the intelligence committee blocked it. And it depends on who you talk to. I think that's your all's jobs as reporters to find out what the hell's going on with this stuff. Because y'all need to start asking tough questions. And you need to start looking at people's financial disclosures as well. Because the groups that probably have control of this, obviously, are well-heeled in this. It's either something that's extraterrestrial or something that we have in our skunk works that we are reverse engineering. Because of this technology, when you see the Tic Tac videos and listen to the pilots, it defies all of our laws of physics. The human body would not be able to withstand the pressure from this thing. It's just beyond belief, and some other stuff. And that's why I wish they would release everything that I've seen, because the American public would say, why are you covering this up? I guess you could say, why are they still covering up Kennedy, the Kennedy assassination? There's nothing there. I mean, it's been over 50 years. Everybody's dead. This is about power. It's about control. It's about money. It's about greed and corruption, and that's what runs this country right now, and that's a disgrace. They tell us.
Well said, but listen, we already knew when those hearings happened. We knew roadblocks was gonna be hit. You know what I mean? Be skeptical of everything. We knew it. I kept saying during those hearings, I was like, listen, man, they're probably moving things right now, and then they still don't care. Soon as y'all come investigating or asking questions, they're going to look at you like, and not give you no information, give you the runaround, spin you several different ways. You were going to get hit with several roadblocks, bro. Now, also, you got to be skeptical. Even though the ones at the podium just now, you got to be skeptical of them. This could be all just smoke and mirrors. All smoke and mirrors. So, like I said, man, we knew we were going to hit these roadblocks. During that hearing, I kept saying it.
Places that I think are a cover-up for something.
This vacuum cleaner store. It's been there my whole life, and I never seen anybody go in or come out or talk about buying a vacuum cleaner out of here. It's really going on.
Places that I think are a cover-up for...
Yo, how many of y'all got places like that in your city? You know what I mean? It's just been there for decades and decades and decades, bro. And it still operates, but you won't hardly see no foot traffic. And you're like, how? I think that about Arby's. Y'all got local Arby's in your neighborhoods and stuff like that? I drive past an Arby's all the time on the way home. Hardly anybody there, but it's still up and running for years. I don't know, man. Y'all, he's skeptical about the vacuum place. I'm skeptical about Arby's, bro. Arby's.
This continent is being kept a secret, and here's why.
In the 1950s, a U.S. admiral got on live TV and spoke about an unknown continent that was beyond the South Pole and bigger than the U.S.
Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. Strangely enough, there is left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole.
Since then, many theories have circulated that there are more
ice wall. Here come the ice wall.
Lands and continents in our world that we're not being told about. But a great question that's always asked is, why would they cover any of this up? What is there to gain? To be blunt, the current running theory is that the 6 continents that we're familiar with is actually a farm, a people farm, or a farm for people. According to the theory, we're given fiat money made out of cotton and linen and can only be used in our 6 continents. And in exchange, the elites or higher ups take all of our gold, silver, and diamonds, which can be used anywhere in the world.
This continent is...
That's interesting, because the way I look at it and think about it, bro, if it's not for a map, a global map, how would we know? We think we know everything because of this global map that we looked at, and we've looked at since we were in school, elementary school, right? Or the globe. And what we saw there is what we taken into account, what we thought is all that's out there. What if that's not the case? You haven't seen every square inch of land on this planet. I haven't seen every square inch of land on this planet. So that could very well be possible.
I know people on here want to believe that Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan were eaten by coconut crabs, but I completely believe differently, and here's why. I believe they were both executed as prisoners of war on the Japanese island of Saipan during World War II. And also that the US and Japanese governments went to great lengths to cover it up. I'm not going to get too in depth. I just keep seeing these coconut crab videos. 2017, there was a History Channel documentary called Amelia Earhart, The Lost Evidence, which is now not available in the US on Amazon or historychannel.com. You can, however, go to our website called Watch Documentaries and search for Amelia Earhart. It's the only documentary that comes up. Get it there while you can, because I don't know if it's actually supposed to be there. 2 books at Amazon: Amelia Earhart, The Truth at Last by Mike Campbell, With Our Own Eyes, Eyewitnesses to the Final Days of Amelia Earhart by Mike Campbell and Thomas E. Devine. A blog called Earhart on Saipan. It's earhartonsaipan.blogspot.com. I know it's Blogspot, but it's been there for a long time. I found that from a YouTube video, and I'm going to show a little bit of the History Channel documentary and then a little bit of this YouTube video. If pictures or videos are distorted color-wise for my videos or anyone else, it's because of copyright, okay?
10 years of my life researching the Earhart mystery because there's been so much disinformation.
That she crash landed in the Marshall Islands, only to be picked up by Japanese forces as a suspected U.S. spy.
Now, I've been seeing a lot of TikToks floating around recently. It's been like a surge in Amelia Earhart information. You know what I mean? Some people saying if you go back and look, or if you think back to school times, to which I didn't pay attention to stuff like that back then. But she said that they said they were telling us then, that she was in some type of camp. She was put in a camp and then something happened to her. So I don't know, man. I've heard several different stories about her. Nothing never really confirmed or concrete. So I guess things will still continue to, or they'll continue to research and try to figure it all out with her. All we know is the plane incident and then vanish, you know, and then they find plane debris and different things like that. But I've heard several different conspiracy theories.
I wonder what this means. Disney, Microsoft, Amazon, Hulu, IBM, LinkedIn, Uber, Salesforce, eBay, MGM, Nestle, Volkswagen, MasterCard, Nissan, Victoria's Secret, Bed Bath & Body Works, T-Mobile, Harley-Davidson, Velocity, WeWork, Juul, Tinder, OkCupid, Hinge. What do all these companies have in common? Their CEOs have recently stepped down. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. I wonder what this means.
I don't know. Maybe it's because maybe all of that down. Listen, man, when the stocks is underperforming and you looking at two years back to back or however long it was of those stocks plummeting, somebody got to take the fall, bro. Somebody has to take the fall for that. And a lot of times it's those CEOs, bro. Now, could be some deep conspiracy theory things surrounding it? Absolutely. I thought he was going to say like BlackRock or something like that. But you can't take those hits and think you're going to hold those positions right like that. Nah, them shareholders ain't feeling that, homeboy. Somebody got to take the fall for it. So
police officer there, and I was like, so what's up, man? Are the aliens here? And he looked at me kind of questioningly, and he pulled his mask down, and he said, hey, we're not allowed to talk about it. I said, yeah, I'm sure. So that's kind of crazy that there's no video. The people that called it in didn't take any videos or anything, and he pulled his mask back down, and he said, so the weird thing is that this camera on my shoulder, we're missing 20 minutes of footage from the officer's camera. They're not allowed to talk about it. They've been debriefed on this whole thing, and nobody knows. And the family's not even saying like how this spaceship or these people even left their property. Police officer there, and I was like, so what's up, man?
Yeah, well, one family member spoke out, and he's stressed out, bro. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. He's pretty much tired of being bombarded and everything like that. He just said him and his family want to be left alone. He spoke out. But we never heard from the cop. The cop, remember the cop? It was the cop that rolled up and questioned the family. And then he said his partner had told him and he had seen something. You know, the cop was kind of being humorous to them as well. He was like, nah, don't call us. We never heard no interview, no nothing. It's kind of like everything has just been submerged, pressed down, quieted, silenced. That's always an indication of something ain't right here, man.
Oh my God!
I finally caught it. I
look. Two signs. They literally.
Look at that.
Are trying to block. Look at the other sign, y'all.
Look at it behind
and
it.
And then look at the little thing up there. Y'all see that? The little white thing.
Look. Y'all see that up there?
Oh my God!
Everybody's looking, bro. everybody's trying to figure out what's going on right now. And they using their cameras. That's what I'm most happy and excited about. Everybody's using their cameras and trying to figure out or catch something. We're going to get y'all, though.
Abandoned by this abandoned warehouse in Reedley that a discovery so shocking was made that it left local health officials stunned. Materials including human blood, unidentified tissue, and other unknown substances. The discovery was made after a local code enforcement officer noticed this garden hose poking out a back wall of the building.
Frankly, we knew that shouldn't be there, and when she went to go investigate, she found that there was activity or operation or something happening within that building.
The city then obtained several search warrants to enter the building. Once inside, no staff was located, but
there was a special room that was built housing about 1,000 mice, 1,000 white lab mice.
And the reason the mice were in the lab was jaw-dropping.
Through their statements, that they were doing some testing on laboratory mice there that would help them support developing the COVID test kits that they had on site.
Documents show the lab was also being used to produce pregnancy tests. 200 of the nearly 1,000 mice were already dead. According to court documents, all the rodents were being caged in, quote, inhumane conditions. Also found thousands of vials, many of which contained biohazards. Infectious, viral, bacterial, and parasitic agents were being stored inadequately, including E. coli, malaria, and even COVID. The city of Reedley immediately called in the CDC, the FBI, the California Department of Public Health, and the Fresno County Department of Public Health.
Scary part is, how many of these labs do you think exist? I think there's a lot. A lot. Let me say that one more time. A lot. That we don't know about. And different things and testings and experiments could be potentially taking place in those labs, or be responsible for some of the things that we go through could come from those labs. Sad, but it could be true.
Welcome back to History vs. Conspiracy, where I ruin all the fun of conspiracy theories with my useless history knowledge. Today we're doing the JFK. Here's how we rank how fake the conspiracy theories are. The lower the number, the more fake it is. JFK happened in Texas in 1963, and I honestly think I'm going to join in on this conspiracy theory. Now, we're told that Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy because there's a possibility that he was a Russian sympathizer, even though Lee Harvey Oswald said he was the fall guy. I do think Lee Harvey Oswald played a part in the taking out of JFK, but this story is just deep. After getting arrested, Lee Harvey Oswald himself would be shot. Robert Kennedy would also be a few years later. There's so many chaotic dominoes falling, it leaves a lot of questions. History also kind of backs up those questions. JFK was outspoken about the CIA, so he had beef with them. There are signs pointing that the Kennedys were connected to the mafia in some sort of way, and the mafia...
That's what I was waiting on, the mob. That's the most recent one that I think I'm more so clinging to now. The deeper you go, the deeper you see the connections in different people. And you'll start to see why a lot of people are more gravitating towards that theory of the mob.
They have even helped him get elected. He was not on good terms with Russia and Russian sympathizers. With that many enemies, he's getting the highest ranking yet on this series, an 8.5. Welcome back to History vs. Conspiracy.
Yeah, the mob one with Kennedy is the one I kind of cling to the most now. Yes, absolutely, bro. And I want to get more information. So we've done one dive on it. I want to do another one. Kind of see what other information we could dig up about it.
Okay, so you guys said you were ready for this conspiracy theory, so let's just get into it. So Ram Bahadur Bamjan was also known as the Little Buddha. He was a 15-year-old boy from Nepal, India, who is said to have superpowers. He spent 10 months in one of the deepest states of meditation and was never seen eating, drinking, going to the bathroom, sleeping, or anything. In fact, a lot of people believed he achieved the state of nirvana at 15 years old. As you probably already guessed, tens of thousands of people came to see this man, because it was believed he was a reincarnation of the Buddha. This without a doubt began making him known internationally, bringing millions and millions of people to come see him and meet him. The little Buddha was always seen meditating under this tree non-stop. He never moved, he never spoke, he never ate, he never slept. And people were just so amazed by this, to the point where they were leaving him money, like a lot of money. So as some of you are probably guessing, yes, doctors got into the mix, because scientifically, how can one just sit like that for 10 months straight? A lot of them were saying he was paralyzed, or he probably couldn't feel anything from the waist down, or simply just thought he was lying. But this is when the mystery just started getting really interesting. People claim to have said that they've seen him sitting in fire and he would not react at all. He would also get bit by snakes and not react at all. But the wildest one is people said that they would see his forehead or his third eye glowing in the dark. If any of this interests you, all of the videos are online if you want to watch them. But it turns out the little Buddha was hiding quite a bit more secrets than we knew. So this woman went to India to go meet the little Buddha and also learn a few of his meditation techniques. But 3 months later, she was released with a broken arm. She claimed that he was physically, mentally abusing her. He was also a and actually, when everybody would leave at night, that's when he would go about his life. She was the first of many to come out and speak on this. And the longer this went on, the more and more other cases started to come out. But the darkest thing about this is a number of foreigners who went to go meet the little Buddha never returned home. Some people believed he was a part of sex trafficking, while some people also believe he was just a serial abuser and killer, and lying about his special powers just to get incredibly rich from the donations of his followers. But what makes this entire mystery even worse is that when the police got involved and came to investigate and question him, he simply just vanished. I tried to do my own research into figuring out where he's at, if anything surfaced, going into 2022, but absolutely nothing. The last articles I read are from 2019. So what do you think? Was he actually enlightened, or do you think he was a serial killer? Let me know in the comments.
I don't know, but these are the type of stories I like to know. I like to know. Not saying I was ever scheduled to go to Nepal or anywhere like that. This is stuff I want to know. That way, if I'm going to Nepal or somewhere, and it was this in Nepal? Was this? I think it was. Yeah. Well, like I said, if I was going there, I want to know this type of stuff because this type of stuff you need to respect. You know what I mean? Respect and know the history. That way you don't just walk up to something and get yourself jammed up or caught into some kind of, history or making a mockery of something that you don't even know the history behind, bro. I don't play around like that. I believe in respecting that type of stuff. And if you don't think the people who live there respect it, you're out of your mind. So if they respect it, I most certainly want to respect it.
Quite simply, isn't the truth that this is a government that protects the super rich while the rest of us pick up the bill through cuts, austerity, poverty, homelessness, low wages and slashing of local services all over the country? That is the reality of a Tory government.
This was the only politician that ever gave a about the people. Jeremy Corbyn had the people's interest at heart, but the global elite decided he was too much a risk to their financial domination, and they used their media influence to completely destroy him. Many find it strange how he had one of the biggest Labour followings in their history, yet apparently his leadership resulted in Labour's worst election result ever. We have to stand by our people. We have to help each other if we are to prosper. If hard times fell on you, people like Jeremy Corbyn would pick you up, give you food and warmth and look after you. Instead, the conservative regime will kick you down, laugh in your face and profit from your misfortune. Labour aren't better now either, because the global elite now control both sides of the government. Join us, stand up for each other and help the cause by following right now.
Quite simply.
We need more people like him willing to speak up, man, and go to bat for us. You know what I mean? That's what I thought was supposed to be happening anyway with our leaders who are in place. Aren't they supposed to be leading, going to bat for us, have our best interests at heart? But lately, I don't feel that way. We need more gentlemen like this guy. From what I see, everybody has a past, so I don't know all about him. But from what I see, man, we need more people like that. Now, I wouldn't be surprised here if they ain't try to blackball or cancel this dude.
Our list of really weird that I'd seen on TikTok yesterday and today that is freaking me the f*** out.
So if you haven't seen her video, go watch it. But when you put everything together, it is pretty crazy. I'm a flight attendant for a major airline, and I will say that the past couple months, 2 separate pilot crews on 2 separate occasions have come out of the cockpit and explained to the crew, like, there is something happening in the sky, and it's completely unexplained. They called ground control to see if there's anything else that's supposed to be out there, whether it's a plane or anything else, and ground control reports nothing. So there is something out there that's happening. Keep your eyes peeled. Good luck.
Powerless.
And y'all want me to get up in the airplane, huh? You still telling me it's safe up there? Safer than me driving my car? I'll take my chances with my car, bro. No, man, that would freak me out. And what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do if we're up there and the pilot comes out of the cockpit and starts telling us this? Nothing we can do. But hope he can get us home safe.
I know I'm gonna get a lot of opinions about this one, but what's the craziest conspiracy theory you've ever heard? How about the Radium Girls were not real? Okay, so back in 1898, Madame Curie discovered radium in its form, radium chloride. And by 1911, they had turned it into like its metallic state. Okay, so now radium is all the rage. It's everywhere. Everyone is using it. They were putting it in toothpaste, in soap, in coffee, tea. They were making all sorts of inventions. They had this one thing, it was like a pack, and you'd wear it on your back if you had back pain. You wear it around all day, and then you put it on your stomach and sleep with it on at night. And so radium was everywhere. They even had these really cool, like, they were like a microwave kind of thing. It was like you put it on your table and then you put whatever food you wanted and it would heat it from the inside with the radium. So radium is like this really neat source. Okay, so then starting in like 1919 to 1920, like 2 or 3, that's when all these companies started using radium as paint to use on their clock dials, the hand dials, so that they would glow in the dark. And they had all these women working for them. And so all these women would paint, and they said, in order to save money, we need you to take your paint brushes and use your mouth and your tongue to kind of twist the brush to make sure that it stays at a nice fine point. We're not going to give you a cloth or water or any of those things. So all these women were doing that. So fast forward to like the end of the 20s, and women started getting really sick, and like the first woman died, her jaw just like fell off of her face, and they take her to the doctor. They keep it like, everything is super hush hush about it. Like they tell everybody that they have syphilis and different things like that, and they keep it really quiet until like later in like the 30s that the women like win a lawsuit about it, and radium is then kind of, you know, taken off the market. But all along this entire time that supposedly all of these 30 women died, there were tons of people using radium in their day-to-day life, like constantly, and there are not a lot of reported deaths about radium during that time. So here is where the conspiracy theory comes in. So what if Marie Curie was a lot like Tesla in that she was maybe given scientific information? She didn't actually discover it, she rediscovered it. And just like Tesla's stuff, you know, he discovered all these amazing things, and then they basically like hide all the stuff that he had all that journaling in it, and all of his experiments and all that just disappeared. Well, radium just kind of disappeared as well, as far as using it on the market. So if that would be the case, that would mean that the Radium Girls, the whole thing was a setup, and they never died of radium poisoning. They died of something else. What do you think? Conspiracy fact or conspiracy theory?
I think she might be onto something there. When you realize you have something that's of value or super valuable, you test it out, then you don't want others to get their hands on it, because it becomes more valuable. You know what I mean? So did they cover it up and put out this elaborate story? Possibly. To scare people from using it or seeking it out? Possibly. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them. What do we still use it? Do we still use it today for anything special? I don't know. I have to look into that. I never really paid attention to radium like that. I have to put that on the docket now. Listen, man, y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this video, man, and these cover-ups. It's your boy, Stick around and stay tuned. Till next one, I'm gone, man.